For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem.
So the king, this is your modern day president. He sent letters to Jerusalem, to the Israelites, to do what?
And the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
That they should leave the laws of the Most High and come vote and be in politics and not worry about these scriptures. That's what that's talking about.
And forbid burnt offerings.
And forbid burnt offerings, which was a way that the Most High forgave our people of our sins.
And sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple.
So they was taking us away from our customs. Every time we sinned, we were supposed to, in the Old Testament, make a burnt offering to the Most High to appease Him.
And that they should profane the Sabbath.
And that we should what?
Profane the Sabbath.
That's one of the 10 commandments. That's the, I think it's the 4th one. It says, remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. What did they say about the Sabbath?
That they should profane the Sabbath.
That's one of the most important laws, the 10 commandments, to keep the Sabbath, to keep the Sabbath, to keep the Sabbath. We're supposed to be keeping the Sabbath today. It's a shame that we see Israelites out here, you know, selling cotton candy or selling, you know, fruit and things like that. It's a store open behind us. What did the heathen give us license to do about the Sabbath?
That they should profane the Sabbath and festival days and pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Now the sanctuary is your body. They got us polluting ourselves by not keeping the laws, statutes, and the commandments.
And set up altars and groves and chapels of idols.
That's also one of the 10 commandments. The first commandment says, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and have no other gods before me.
And chapels of idols.
They set up chapels of idols. They had an idol of who the world calls Jesus Christ. That's an idol. You know, Christ never, we're not supposed to dwell on what Christ looked like. We know that he was a black man according to these scriptures, but we're not supposed to set up a picture of an idol, and we're not supposed to be worshiping Ishtar, and we're not supposed to be worshiping, you know, the Star of David and all of that nonsense. That's a grove of an idol, and that's what brought us into destruction. Give me Judith chapter 5 and verse 18. Yep. We're not supposed to, we got to know that our strength is the keeping of these laws. You got that precept?
This is James 4 verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulteress, know ye not that the friendship of this world is enmity with the Most High?
So if you friends with the law, statutes, and ordinances of this world, you ain't one of God's acquaintances. God ain't dealing with you if you friends of this world. You cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and of the cup of this world.
Right. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of this world is the enemy with the Most High.
Is the what?
Is the enemy with the Most High.
So if you friends with what this world is doing, that makes you the enemy of the Most High. And what is the Most High going to do to his enemy? He's going to destroy him.
This is the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 17. And while they sinned not before their God, they prospered.
When we was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, we did what?
They prospered.
We did what?
They prospered.
No, you wrong. We failed.
They prospered.
So while we was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, we was prospering. We was going. We was ahead. We was on top of the world. The same way the Most High said in the book of Deuteronomy that we would be a peculiar treasure unto Him. What did they do when they was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments?
They prospered. Because the God that hateth iniquity.
What does God hate?
Hateth iniquity.
The Most High hates when you're not keeping His law, statutes, and commandments.
Was with them.
Because God was with us when we wasn't committing sin. He was with us and we prospered when we was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments.
But when they departed,
when we left the law, statutes, and commandments,
from the way which He appointed them,
the law, statutes, and commandments,
they were destroyed.
We was what?
Destroyed.
We was destroyed because we wasn't keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's all that the Bible talks about from the beginning to the end.
That's right.
Keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. That's it.
It's like this.
And destroyed in many battles.
We lost many battles. We was going to war and couldn't win. We couldn't defend ourselves. Is that what that's saying?
In many battles, very sore. and were led captives.
We was led what?
Led captives
We came on the slave ships to America?
into a land that was not theirs.
Was America ours? No.
And the temple of their God was cast to the ground.
Our temple was what?
Cast to the ground.
Right, so they destroyed it. They looted our temples, cast us to the ground, and led us into captivity into a land that was not ours.
Right.
All because of what? Go back up to verse 17.
The book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 17. And while they sinned not before their God, they prospered.
So we wasn't destroyed in very many battles and led away captive when we was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. It says we prospered. Go back to where you was at.
And their cities were taken by the enemies.
So our cities was taken by the enemies. Who's staying in Jerusalem right now? It sure as hell ain't those people on the 12 tribe sign. Our cities was taken by our enemies.
Right.
The same people that led us away captive into a land that we didn't know.
Right.
But now are they returned to their God.
Right, now give me, quote this, now give me Psalms chapter 82 and verse 2. And let's see what's going on here, and let's get the context of this situation where this scripture is at. Because the nations, the other nations, the heathen around about us, they know our laws, statutes, and commandments. They know it. That's how they took us down. Because they knew that if they got us to sin, we would be destroyed. Right, you got that? Psalms chapter 88, that's in the 30. Let's see, Psalms chapter 50, 60, 70, 80, chapter 82. Okay. I still need that in Judah.
Yeah.
Right? So, while they sin not, they prosper before their God. So, while we sin, remember he got it earlier, is the transgression of the law. So, if sin is the transgression of the law, then that means while we was transgressing the law, then we were led away captives and destroyed.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 2. Chapter 83, verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult.
So they're young.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Right, so they're looking against us.
They have taken crafty counsel.
Crafty counsel. All right, give me Judah chapter 5 and verse 22, and let's see what that crafty counsel is. Right, so they made it to moat. That means they're yelling. They coming up against us. They lifted up their heads and they coming up against us. They say, okay, we see them prospering before the sight of the Most High. So what we gonna do? We gonna be some haters. You know, we gonna bring them down. So we gotta get them to sin first. So they took crafty counsel. They had to come up with a plan. That's what that's talking about. Right?
This is the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let the Lord now pass by.
Right. If there's no iniquity, if they're not committing sins, let Alophanes is who that's talking about. Let the heathens pass by. Now give me verse 20.
Verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error in this people,
as long as they're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments,
and they sin against their God,
as long as they're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments,
let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
That's the only way that you can ruin the 12 tribes of Israel, by not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. And the nations understand that. You got any precepts, Simon? And the nations understand that. They understand that that's the only way that you can take down Israel. Go ahead.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
So the other nations, like I said, they understood as long as we was kept away from our law, statutes, and commandments, that would be our undoing.
But if there be no iniquity.
But if there be no what?
Iniquity.
So that means if we following the law, statutes, and commandments in the Torah,
in their nation, let my Lord now pass by.
Let me what? Let my Lord what?
Now pass by.
Right, so let's not touch them because they keeping the law, statutes, and commandments.
Lest their Lord defend them.
Lest the Most High defend us because we keeping his law, statutes, and commandments.
And their God be for them.
And the Most High of Israel be for us and protect us.
And we become a reproach before all the world.
Before all the world, they're going to be cast down if we keeping the law, statutes, and commandments and they rise up against us. Right? Because all these laws, statutes, and commandments lead to the promises. and the promises are to us. Give me Revelations 21 and 12. Let's see, because the promise is the kingdom of heaven. Now, who's going to get into the kingdom of heaven? You might think, oh, we're all going to be, you know, sold on the rapture. You know, everybody going to be beamed up, you know, hugging and kissing on each other. No, that's not how it's going to go down.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 21 and verse 12.
Now, let's see who's getting this promise of the kingdom of heaven.
And had a wall great and high.
A wall great and high to the kingdom of heaven.
And had 12 gates.
12.
And at the gates 12 angels.
12.
And names written thereon.
12 names.
Which are the names?
Which are the names of who?
Of the 12 tribes.
Of who?
Of the children of Israel.
Of the children of Israel. So we know who's going to, you got a precept box? So we know who's going into heaven. Y'all talking about, all right, let me get that in Romans, what that's talking about. Right? Yeah. What I was saying was the 12 tribes of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel are going into heaven. And every other nation that come into there with us, we're going to possess them for handmaids and servants.
Right.
Right? All the promises are ours. Give me Romans chapter 9. Right? All the promises are ours. They belong to us. The Most High promised Israel the promises. Give me Romans chapter 9 and verse 1, I think. Right? Get that.
I had that wrong. No, that's right. That's right. No, that's fine. You get it. I'm coming with this.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 1. I say the truth in Christ.
So let me tell y'all the truth real quick.
I lie not.
He's not lying.
My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost, that I have a great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart.
Why does Paul have a great heaviness? Because we're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. He sees that, and that's affecting him because he wants to see his people prosper, just like us.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ.
For whose sake?
For my brethren.
Because y'all not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. We out here grieved, man, because our people are not keeping these law, statutes, and commandments. That's why we out here. That's why we preaching to y'all. Right. We wish that we could see all of our people come together in Jerusalem for Pentecost. Or we wish that we could see all our people sitting at the same feast table for the Passover. Or we wish that we could see all of our people come together for Purim. Or we wish that we could see all of our people in Jerusalem in prosperity.
My kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites.
So Paul is preaching to his brothers. He's saying, I wish that I could be accursed from Christ so that y'all could keep the law, statutes, and commandments. The Israelites.
Right. To whom pertaineth the adoption.
The Most High sent Christ in the world to change Israel from a servant to the heirs of God.
And the glory.
And the what?
And the glory.
The glory of the Most High belongs to Israel. Remember, Paul said, who are Israelites.
And the covenants.
That's right.
And the giving of the law.
So we got the law. Give me the book of Acts, chapter 7 and verse 38. Hold that though. Right? So when did we get the law? We got the law in the book of Exodus. Right? We got the law. Wasn't no other nation out there with us when we got these laws, statutes, and commandments. It was a mixed multitude of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel with the victuals that they had taken from Egypt.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 38. This is he that was in the church.
So who is the church?
In the wilderness.
In the wilderness.
With the angel.
With the angel, right? Moses. This is talking about Moses. He was in the church in the wilderness. Who was in the wilderness? The Israelites. We're the church.
Which spake to him in the Mount Sinai.
Which spoke to the church in Mount Sinai. The angel that spoke to Moses. Moses that spoke to the church in the wilderness of Mount Sinai.
And with our fathers.
With our fathers. Nobody else's fathers.
Who received the lively oracles.
The lively oracles. This book of the law, this is life. This is life, the lively oracles, not the deathly oracles. Because we read that the Most High is not the God of the dead.
To give unto us.
To give unto who?
Unto us.
Now give me the book of, now go back to that in Romans. Right, where it says, who are the Israelites?
Verse 4.
The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 4. who are Israelites.
That's the us that it's talking about.
I have been with you wherever you have gone, and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.